Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Like I've mentioned before, there are a lot of things in store for TwoKey. One of the things is I'm gonna do a series called Life After Matric. This is my friend Chevauré.
Hello.
And today I'm gonna talk about her life after Matric, the journey she went on. So I'm just gonna ask her a few questions. So first of all, Chevauré, right after Matric, you went to varsity. So I would like to know, what was your experience as a first year? I know a lot of people are overwhelmed. You're taken out of your comfort zone and whatsoever, and you get like a new way of learning. So what was your experience?
First year was culture shock, to put it lightly. It was adjusting to the idea of being at home 24 hours, so all of a sudden being in a hostel. It was also adjusting to English being my primary language of instruction. And then it was just believing that I could actually do it, believing that I can study, I can make this, I can get through it. It was juggling the multitude of work. It was juggling the Ifundi. Oh my goodness, Ifundi confused me so much back then because
Just to interrupt you there, guys, Ifundi is like the intranet of the NWU. By the way, she studied law at the NWU. So that's the intranet. That's the site where you get everything. So
yes. So it was checking Ifundi about at least 5 times a day for your emails, for your tests. It was having a test online. It was all of a sudden typing all of your assignments on a computer where I was never used to it ever in my life.
yeah.
Up until matric, I did all of my assignments by writing them
That
out
can
by
be
hand.
scary. Yeah.
Yes. So here I am. I'm typing. The lecturer says used to Homa 12 PT justified indents. I'm like, what is this nonsense?
So as you guys can hear, we're all starting there, and those are things that can be challenging, overwhelming, and most of all cause anxiety.
Yes.
So that being said, what is the requirements to study law for anyone? If I'm in matric now and I want to study law, what are the requirements?
Okay, so obviously when you apply to study, you apply with your grade 11 marks. When I applied, the apps was 26 back then. You have to have level 4 for your home language and level 4 for your first additional language. And then if you have maths, it's level 3. Mathematical literacy, it's level 5. So it's just about it. And just to give you guys a background, I know that there are some theories, or rather some narratives, that people who don't have physical sciences and pure maths, they can't study certain careers like law, for instance. With me, I had mathematics literacy, I had history, business studies, and life sciences. So that's a mess of a package together. But I still studied law because the important thing was my language and my mark for maths being okay back then. So you can study law even if you have
mathematical
yes.
literacy. Okay, and then besides the academic requirements, what do you think pulled you through? Like, what factor do you need to have to study law? Like, yeah.
Law is about being bold. It's about believing in yourself and confidence, most importantly.
Yes.
It's about believing and trusting that there's no such a thing as a stupid question. But more importantly, it's about being intuitive. You need to be able to seek more. That's basically what I want to tell you. Always ask questions, even if there are questions in your head. Always, even if you watch documentaries about serial killers or whatever, if it sparks your interest, if it's your niche, then that's what you need to study law. Because law is not a thing where you wake up, you go to class, you come back, you read. You'll have a terrible journey studying law like that, because I believe that you need to have a passion for the law.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's monetary driven, it's fine as long as there's a passion.
You can't study it because your parents said you must become a lawyer. It must be something you want to do. Okay, so what was while studying? Oh, by the way, guys, Chevauré, she's my friend. That's why I call her on a nickname. You guys are not allowed to do that. So Chevauré studied an LLB degree for 4 years. And then she did her master's last year in 2020, which was challenging, by the way, with COVID and everything. So now I want to know from you, Shay, what was your biggest challenge overall throughout the 5 years of studying?
It was just keeping in mind that you can make it, because I feel like when you study, there are so many things that put you down. There are so many things that cause you to feel like, goodness me, it's too hard. I cannot get through this chapter. I do not understand this. I failed this test. Yes, I failed some tests.
Yeah.
I got a 50. I got a 40%. So it was believing that I could make it, and kicking those lazy habits was the most challenging thing for me.
Telling yourself that sleep is for the weak and constantly proving to yourself that you are not tired and you actually want to fall down.
Yeah, so that was very challenging. Just thinking that I can, my mind was my biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Even when I started with my first year, believing that, first of all, I first believed that I couldn't study law. I believed that I will never make it. And then I had to undergo a complete metamorphosis in terms of my mind. So now I think I'm pretty okay.
Okay. So when you finished your LLB, I know a lot of people, I'm one of them. When I finished my studies, I was just like, oh gosh, I want to go work. Because as a student, you get a lot of financial struggles. So, and we're going to get to that. So you just want to go out and work and make money and explore new things. And you've been here for years. So now it's time for something new. So what made you decide to do your master's?
Well, I have always wanted to do my master's and my PhD and my everything. So I just decided, since I didn't get those offers from the jobs that I applied to, those "we are pleased to inform you" emails, I just kept receiving "we regret to inform you." So I decided, you know what, maybe this master's thing, I should do it. I'm young. I'm only 22. I'll be 20. Yeah, I'm only 22. I was 22 when I started with my master's. Let me just start doing
21.
Yeah, I was 21 when I started my master's.
She was 21 when she
I was
started
21. So I decided, you know what, I'm very young. Let me just do it. I think I can do it. And it will help me, because what if life happens and I get married and I have babies and all of a sudden my schedule is so jam-packed and busy and I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that can happen.
So it was a lot. So, and you will find that as you study, you become grown. You start developing a grown-up mind. You start thinking about your future. So like I said, I thought about what my life would be like 5 years down the line. And I believe that me not getting employment when I needed to get it was a blessing in disguise, and it was a sign for me to do my master's. Yes. So that's why I did it.
Okay. So when people start working and they are busy becoming lawyers, we hear about articles that you have to do. And I also want to know from you, is there any professional registration that you need to do? Because it's the law, and a lot of other professions need to do that registration, and they have all these councils and associates and stuff. So what is in law that you need to do before you can actually go to court or represent someone or do what you actually studied for?
Okay. So basically with law, if I'm just going to speak on behalf of, if you want to become an attorney, obviously you'll apply for your articles. That's vocational training now for 2 years that you do. Then once you get accepted for your articles, your firm or your principal or whoever will usually register your articles. Then you'll be registered as a candidate attorney. You'll be recognized by the Law Society, and everything will be beautiful for you. And then as you go along with your articles, a few months into it, you then have to apply to get a right to appear in the magistrate's court. And this is now when you have a principal for you to appear on behalf of your principal, because your principal is the person who trains you during that course of your 2-year articleship that you do. Yeah, and that's about it. And obviously once you're done with your articles, you write your board exams, most important exams of your legal career. And once you pass those, then you will be admitted in the High Court of South Africa, let's say in Kimberley. I'm from the Northern Cape, so I'm going to say Kimberley. You're going to say you get admitted there, and then you're an attorney of the law, or like we call it now, legal practitioners.
Yes. Okay. So I want to know from you, when I was in school, you kind of have a picture of what lawyers do because of the series that we watch, but we know life is not like it is on TV. So I want to know from you, what are the day-to-day tasks that a lawyer have?
Okay, so I'm speaking from experience from people that I've scouted now over the years. basically what you do is you have filing duties, like you draft pleadings for your clients, you have consultations with your clients, you go to court, you schedule dates. You, let's say for instance, you have to make appointments to go to see your client in prison, to consult with your client. You make calls, even it's part of your day as well. As lawyers, we usually say every hour of a lawyer's time is taxable, and that's very true. Every phone call, every email, every whatever. So that's the fun part that will come a few years from now.
Yeah.
When you're a lawyer, I charge you for everything. So that is basically what a lawyer does day to day. And I don't think that there's a lawyer who doesn't have a busy day. Someone maybe can prove me wrong, but I believe that a lawyer has a busy day every single day because of all of the things that you have to do. Maybe today you need to reply to a pleading that you received or something of the sort. You have to reply to a letter of demand that your client received. So yeah, that's about it. It happens.
Serious
it's paperwork.
work. It's serious.
It's paperwork. And also it's reading up on certain things as well. You don't just, when you're a lawyer, your experience of learning doesn't end when you get your degree. You're gonna always read. You're gonna constantly read. So that's why a huge chunk of our day also consists of finding case law, like es versus os per pastores, and reading what the court said in that case. So yeah.
Okay. Bouncing back, speaking of finances, throughout your varsity days, like when you got here, your parents or your bursary gave you an amount of money and then they said, manage this. Now you come from school and you have no idea how to do this because your mother bought your clothes, your mother bought your food, everything, and now you have to know like how to manage your finances. How did you survive?
I think I've always had an adult complex in me, so I've always felt like I can.
That's a plus for you.
Yeah. So I was pretty great at managing my finances actually. I didn't study with a bursary. My parents paid for my studies, so they sent me for 1.5 every single month. And it's groceries, it's everything. So I had a little list where
and
I
it's
would
clothes as well.
No, fortunately my sister bought my clothes for me, so I was fine.
Thank you for
I didn't
that.
have issues, so thank you, sister, for that. So I would have a list with all my condiments, and then I'd have my toiletries and whatever not. The one thing that I can tell you, however, is I didn't go out as much as the average student simply because I didn't receive enough money from home to be able to go out every weekend or even every month. I never went out during my 4 years.
And the
of study.
one thing that you don't want to do is disappoint your parents. Like with me, I know coming from the background that I have, you can't take the money that your parents have worked so hard for and use that to go out and party while you should actually be studying.
Exactly.
But I also think that as a student, you need to have a student life. You need to have a balanced life. You can't always be in the books, but there are other ways to have fun.
Yes.
And you don't always need to go out, but you're gonna have to find out for yourself how you're gonna have fun. Because I know with me and my roommate, we used to have late movie nights, or with some of the girls in the hostel, we have something in the hostel and not go out where you go out and spend money.
Yeah.
So those are almost all the questions for me. Chevauré is currently a lecturer at the law faculty at the NWU. So I want to know from you, Che, what is it like being a lecturer in law? By the way, guys, these lecturers have a tendency of gossiping about us. So please tell us a bit more about that. And obviously, you're not going to tell us what's your most annoying experience because we know it's us.
Yeah,
obviously.
Students.
So what is your experience as a lecturer? What do you enjoy the most? What's the most challenging? And what annoys you the most?
Okay. I think the experience is a little bit difficult because of the situation with COVID-19 right now, everything being online.
Yeah.
But I must say I've always had a deep love for teaching, so it's really, I feel like I'm at home.
When you initially accepted at the NWU for teaching,
yes.
So she came here for teaching actually.
But then I changed because I was told on advice that you can do your law degree and then you do your PGCE for 1 year once you're done. But then God worked things out, and now I'm a lecturer. So
in the law faculty.
in the law faculty, so it works for me. So anyways, I feel like I'm at home in terms of what I'm doing right now. I thoroughly enjoy the contact sessions, which are on platforms like Teams and Zoom and so forth. So it's not me seeing the students physically, but just me speaking like I can ramble for hours and hours on.
I know. Don't ever think you can video call
But anyways, the most challenging thing for me is knowing that being a lecturer is of great magnitude. You are teaching.
You have a great responsibility.
You have an incredible responsibility. So making sure that your content is on point, making sure that you are delivering the correct content to the students, and just challenging yourself in terms of setting up tests and exams, making sure it's not too difficult, making sure it's not too easy, and also
making sure that you challenge them, but not make them want to quit.
Yes, and the thing that's most annoying is the fact that many students think that we are here to make them fail.
Spoon feed them.
Yeah, and also to spoon feed them, because and they take advantage of you as well. I try to be so nice to everyone. I try to respond to their emails within minutes, even hours, so they can see that, okay, this lecturer actually cares. But then they take advantage of it with the tumultuous excuses that don't make sense. Goodness me. The dog ate my assignment.
Speaking of which, what advice would you give a grade 12 learner right now from a lecturer's perspective and point of view for when they're coming next year?
Get into the habit of preparing and reading. Get into the habit of knowing that more is expected. You cannot just think that you can come by with simply going to your class, listening to what your teacher says, and then you expect yourself to pass. It doesn't work like that. No. Prepare yourself. There's a saying that one of my lecturers said, be prepared, or something along those lines. What? If you fail to prepare to fail. Yes. That's the saying that she said. So prepare, put in the extra hours, put in the extra work, and ask questions. That's the most important thing. Ask questions all the time.
And lecturers, although they can be very strict, they are not dragons. They're not gonna bite you. So if you don't understand something, go to their office. Bother them. Always ask them questions. They can never tell you, I'm not able to help you, except for after the test.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Ma'am, why did I get this mark? But you didn't explain it the way I needed you to explain it.
Okay, so that's a wrap from us. Thank you so much for answering all my questions, Shay. I hope this helps somebody. If you have any questions for Chevauré, I'll leave all my details in the description box as always. WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I'm missing one. Email, yes. I leave those 5. You can send any of the questions and I will forward it to Shay and then send it to you. If she's comfortable with it, she will communicate with you. Yes. So you just send all your communication details and then she will get back to you. So that is Chevauré, and she's a law lecturer at the NWU. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please comment, like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.